Hello yogis, welcome to today's class. We will actually start standing today. Usually I like to start class seated, grounding, working on our breath. But today's class is a warming flow. And so when we're feeling kind of chilly, it can be hard to kind of sit and ground. So we'll do that at the end today. Start in the middle of your mat, just in Tadasana. Feet hip width apart. Feel the soles of your feet on the mat, and then rooting down into the ground below you. And then reach your head up tall. Close your eyes for a moment, and just take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Open up your eyes. This time when you inhale, circle your arms down, around, and up overhead. And as you exhale, press the air away. And inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, press the air away. Last one, inhale, pause at the top, reach. And then exhale, let your arms go down. Stay where you're at, and this time just draw your right knee into your chest. Circle your ankle one way. And then switch directions, circle the other way. And if this is too much, you can always just do this down here low to the ground, or maybe you're at a wall. And then from here, hold your leg up. Maybe you just have one hand on your knee. And then maybe try straightening your leg out. And it's okay, you can be down here low to the ground to help catch yourself if you need some balance. And release back down. Shift your weight over to your right foot and draw your left knee into your chest. And circle your ankle one way, and then the opposite way. And then from here, let go with either both hands or one hand, and hold here. And maybe draw your leg out straight. And release back down. Make your way up to the top of your mat in Tadasana. Inhale your arms down, around, and up overhead. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Hang out here for a couple breaths. Bend your knees as much as you need to. You can also have some blocks here. On your next inhale, lift up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step back to a plank or a half plank with your knees lowered. And hold. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale, lower to the ground, nice and slow. And land on your belly, press into the tops of your feet, hands underneath your shoulders, and inhale, lift up to a baby cobra. And release back down, press up and back, take a downward dog, tuck your toes under, and pedal up your legs. Let one heel drop towards the mat, and then the other. Maybe take a wider stance than usual here. And then find some stillness. Again, bend your knees if you need to. And then start to walk up towards the front of your mat and come to a forward fold. And inhale, lift up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, move all the way up to standing, one vertebrae at a time. Take your arms down, around, and up overhead, and as you exhale, sit back in chair pose. Your hands can be wherever you would like, maybe out in front, maybe cactus, at your heart, up overhead, any variation that works for you. One more breath here. Inhale. And exhale, release back down to your forward fold. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Put your palms palms step back to a downward dog for just a moment, and then lower your knees to your mat nice and slow, and pause just before you reach the ground and hold. And then gently release all the way to your tabletop. Inhale, lift your tailbone up to the ceiling. And exhale, round through your back, tuck your tailbone under. And inhale through cow. And exhale through cat. Take a few more rounds with your own breath. Even it out, and then bring your feet together, knees apart, and sit your hips back into a child's pose. You can walk your hands over to the left side of your mat. And then through center and over to the right. And then back through center for one more breath. Before pressing back up to your tabletop. On your next inhale, bring your heart between your hands, open up through your collarbones, and take your tailbone up to the ceiling. And start to drag your hips back. And then as you exhale, round through your spine, coming back up to your tabletop. Take a few more just like that. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale back up to your tabletop. From here, take your left leg out. Keep your foot on the mat to start and rock forwards and backwards. And then lift your left leg up and hold. Peek back, make sure your toes are pointed down towards the ground. Come back to your breath here. And then stay here, or maybe reach your right arm forward and balance. Hold for one more breath. Inhale. And exhale, release back down. Take your right leg back. Keep your foot on the mat to start and rock forwards and backwards. And then lift your right leg up. Again, making sure your toes are pointed down towards the mat, and just hold here. And stay here, balancing just with your leg out, or reach your left arm forward and balance here. Hold for one more breath. Inhale. And exhale, release back down. We'll take one more time each side. You can choose just to take your leg out or balance with your leg and your arm reaching out. Inhale. Take your left leg behind you. Reach your right arm forward. And as you exhale, bring your elbow and your knee to meet. Hollow out the front side of your body. And reach back out long. And then release back to your tabletop. And take your right leg back. And stay with your right leg, or reach your left arm forward. Inhale. And then exhale, elbow and nose knee, or elbow and knee meets. And reach back out forward, and release back to your tabletop. From here, tuck your toes under, Lift up slightly so your knees are just hovering above the mat, and hold here. Inhale, and then exhale, lift your hips up and back, come into your downward dog. Stay here for another breath or two. And then start to walk your hands towards the back of your mat. Forward fold at the back. Bend your knees. Grab opposite elbows. Sway gently side to side. Release your hands. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing, nice and slow. Take your arms up overhead, and exhale, sit back in your chair. Inhale, and as you exhale, invitation to sink a little bit lower into your pose. Hold for one more breath, inhale. And exhale, release back up to standing. Come to Tadasana. You can stay where you're at. Inhale, your arms down, round and up overhead. Grab your left wrist. Reach up and over to the right. Gentle side body stretch. And back up to center. Grab your right wrist. Reach up and over to the left. And back up to center. And swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. Exhale, release. Walk your hands back out to the front of your mat and come into a plank. And you can be in full plank or half plank with your knees lowered. Inhale, and then exhale. If you're in full plank, go ahead, lower your knees. And then everybody lower your chest. And then your chin reaches the mat. And come all the way down. Hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale, press up to cobra. And exhale, release. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, release. Take one more. And this time, hold at the top. Lift up your hands here. And then release back down to the mat. Press up and back to your tabletop and then to your downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to a three-legged dog. And exhale, shift forward, knee to nose. And then bring your foot through between your hands for a low lunge to start. Just take a couple breaths here. Shift your hips back, straighten through your left leg. You can have blocks here by your side to help bring the ground up towards you. Inhale, lengthen through your spine, and then exhale, fold over your left leg. And then back to your low lunge. Plant your right palm on the mat, twist towards your left leg. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. And then come back to frame your foot. Plant your palms, make your way to half plank or full plank, or even forearm plank if this is too much on your wrists. Inhale, and exhale, press up and back to your downward dog. And then inhale your right leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, and then come through for a lunge on the right. And take a few breaths on the right side. And then take your hips back, straighten through your right leg. Inhale, straighten through your spine, and then exhale, fold forward over your right leg. And then back to your lunge. Plant your left palm, twist towards your right leg, and take your right arm up towards the ceiling. And then back to frame your foot. Plant your palms. Come to plank for just a breath. Inhale, and then exhale, up and back to downward dog. And then from downward dog, start walking up towards the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Arms down, around and up overhead. And exhale, back down to your forward fold. Once again, inhale, lift up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Plant your palms. Step back to your downward dog. This time, inhale, your right leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, and then coming through to a high lunge. But if you're not feeling quite ready for a high lunge, you can always keep your back knee lowered. And you can stay here, low to the ground, or inhale, your arms up overhead. Hold for one more breath. And then come back to frame your foot. Plant your left palm, twist towards the right arm up toward in the air. And back to frame your foot. Plant your palms, come back to a plank, and up and back, downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, knee to nose, and then through to a lunge. A high lunge if you're ready, but always come down on that back knee if you prefer. And either stay low to the ground or inhale your arms up overhead. Hold for one more breath. And then back down to frame your foot. Plant your right palm, twist towards the left. And then back to frame your foot. Come to a plank. And then take your left hand in the middle of your mat. Come onto the side of your left foot. And take your right arm up for a right side plank. You can also be on your left knee here as well. And then back to center. This time, take your right hand into the center of your mat. Come onto the edge of your right foot or your right knee and take your left arm up into the sky. And back to center. And from here, lower your knees. Take your knees together, feet apart, and sit back into a child's pose. Take a nice deep breath in. And exhale, press back up to your tabletop. You can always stay in your child's pose longer if you'd like. Otherwise, tuck your toes under. Lift up and back to your downward dog. Stay here for a couple breaths. Notice any differences you feel in your body from where you started today. And then start to the front of your mat, forward fold. And on your next inhale, lift up to a flat back, and exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing, arms down around and up overhead, and exhale, your hands to heart center, and sit back in your chair. Taking revolved chair, twist towards the right, take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Try and keep your weight even in both feet here. And then back to center and over to the left. Right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Back to center for one more breath. And then release to a forward fold. Inhale, lifting up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Plant your palms, step back to a downward dog. Inhale your left leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, coming into a high lunge. And then from here, we'll come into warrior two. So pivot on your right foot, cartwheel your arms down, around, and up. And once you're up, you might need to adjust your alignment or widen or shorten your stance. And then settle into the pose. Hold for one more breath, and then flip your left palm up, reach forwards, around and back, kickstand your right hand onto your right leg for reverse warrior. Back up to your warrior two, straighten through your left leg, tilt your hips to the back, and start to hinge forward, coming into triangle. Your left hand can come to your leg, or maybe to a block, and your right arm twists up towards the ceiling. Hold for one more breath, and then make your way back up. Turn your left toes towards the center, coming into a wide stance. Turn both toes 45 degrees outwards. Take your hands to your hips. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, bend through your knees, coming into goddess. Your hands might come to rest on your knees. Maybe they come to your heart, maybe up overhead. Hold for one more breath. And then exhale, release back up. Turn your left toes back towards the left. And then start to pivot back on your right foot and cartwheel your arms back down, coming back to your high lunge. Plant your palms, step back to plank, and then up and back to your downward dog. Same thing on the right side now. Inhale your right leg up to a three-legged dog. Exhale, shift forward, and then bring your right foot between your hands, high lunge. Start to pivot on your left foot, cartwheel your arms down, around, and up, coming into your warrior two on the right side. Hold for one more breath, then flip your right palm up, reach forwards, up and around. Left hand kickstands onto your left leg. And then back up, straighten through your right knee, take your hips to the back. Start to hinge forward from the waist. Your right hand kickstands on your right leg. Your left hand twists up towards the ceiling. One more breath here, and reaching back up. This time, I'll turn around to face you, but stay where you're at. Turn both feet towards center again, another wide stance. For this time, you'll come into a wide leg forward fold. Inhale, and then exhale. Start to bend forward. Release your arms, maybe to blocks. And then come into a wide leg forward fold. Bend your knees here if you need to. And let your head and your neck hang heavy. And if at any time during this practice you just need a break, just come down to your mat and take a child's pose. Or if you're finding yourself a little out of breath, I find that coming into hero's pose, I'll show you quick. Instead of child's pose, helps to catch the breath a little better than being in child's pose does. So make sure to listen to your body, take what you need from this practice, and leave what doesn't work for you. Take a couple more breaths here in your forward fold. And inhale, lift up to a flat back. Pause here for a breath or two. Before nice and slowly coming all the way back up. Just standing, take as much time to recalibrate here as you need. From here, turn your right toes back. And start to pivot on your left foot. Curl your arms down and around, back to high lunge. And plant your palms, come to the plank. And then from here, you can stay here, you can come to your forearms, or you can join me in a side plank. So this time, take your right hand to the center of your mat, pivot onto the side of your right foot, and take your left arm up. You can also kickstand onto your left foot here as well. And back to center. One more time to the left. Left palm the center of your mat, pivoting onto the side of your left foot. And again, you can kickstand on your right foot here as well. And then back to center. And lower to the ground, knees, chest, and chin. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press up to a cobra. Or if you're feeling warm enough, press all the way up to an upward facing dog. And then release back down. From here, let's all take a child's pose for a breath or two. Stay here for as long as you'd like, but when you're ready, come to a seat. Take your feet flat on the mat to start. Roll your shoulders down your back, and take your torso back in space, coming into boat pose. So this might be enough for you right here. Or you might take your arms out by your side. Maybe you lift up your legs. Any combination of what feels right for you right now. One more breath, inhale, and then exhale, release back upright. And then after a breath or two, we'll set back up into our boat. Inhale, and then exhale, come into your boat. And this time, if your legs are up, just start to slowly tap one foot down, and then the other. And if your feet are flat on the mat, just raise one leg and lower, and raise your other leg and lower. Your hands can also be out for this as well. Take one more breath, even it out on both sides. And release back upright. And then we'll take one more boat pose. So for this one, once again, you can keep your feet flat on the floor and just take your torso back, or you can take your legs up. Inhale, and as you exhale, nice and slow, lower down to the ground, but keep your heels and your shoulder blades up. If you have your feet lowered, just keep your shoulder blades up and lift and lower your torso. And nice and slow, lift back up to your boat. Try for two more. Inhale. And exhale, lower. Pause here at the bottom. Inhale. And exhale back up, right? Try for one more. And then pause at the bottom. You might be shaking. And then lower all the way to the ground. Take a full body stretch. Arms up overhead. And then take your knees into your chest. And rock gently side to side. Or maybe take your hands to your knees. And just take nice circles with your knees. And then stay here for as long as you want, or if you're just done with your practice today, that's okay too. From here, rock and roll up, or just come to one side and press back up that way. The option is yours. Come back to your tabletop, and then your downward dog. Tuck your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and then make your way up to a forward fold. And pause here for a breath. And then inhale, lift up to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Take your arms down, round and up overhead. And exhale back to your chair. One more breath, inhale. And then exhale, release back to your forward fold. Take your right hand to the center of your mat or to a block. Bend your right leg and twist towards the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then release. Take your left hand towards in the center, bend your left leg and twist towards the right arm up. And release back to your forward fold. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. And exhale, fold. Inhale, roll up to standing. Arms down, round and up overhead. And then take your hands to your heart for just a breath or two. And then release your hands back down. Step your right leg backwards, about a foot or two behind. And we're coming into Warrior One. So if you like the lined up stance of Warrior One, you are free to take that. But personally, I like a wider stance, hip width apart. From your Tadasana, just step your right foot back, keeping that nice separation. And that also helps if this pose kind of hurts your low back. Try it with some more space between your feet and see if that helps. Keep your right foot turned out to about a 45-degree angle, and then bend through your left knee, and take your arms up overhead for Warrior One. You might need to adjust your stance, that's okay. Inhale, and then exhale, swing your arms backwards, take your torso forward, come into Humble Warrior. Hold for one more breath, and then nice and steady, coming back upright. Take your arms down and around, step back up to your Tadasana, and then take your left foot back. Again, taking the spacing that works for you. Turn your left foot about 45 degrees forward. So you don't want your left foot pointed directly towards the side, you want it about 45 degrees. And then bend through your right knee this time, take your arms up into the air. And then take your arms back, bring your torso forwards, and come into Humble Warrior. Look down at the ground, have a nice long line through your spine and your head and your neck. One more breath, and then coming back upright. Circle your arms down and around, and come back to your Tadasana. Come to the center of your mat now, and we'll just take a little break to do some balancing. So start by finding your center. Start to shift forwards and backwards, and then side to side until you find your center. And once you find that center point, close your eyes. Feel yourself in that center balanced state. And then blink your eyes open, shift your weight over to your left foot, and come into tree on with your right leg. So you might start low to the ground, heel at your ankle, toes on the ground. You might bring your right foot up to your left calf, or maybe you bring your right foot up above your left knee. You can also do this at the wall. Your hands can come to your heart, or up overhead, or anywhere in between that helps you balance. One more breath here. And then gently release back down. Shake it out if you need to. And then shift over to the right and grow your tree with your left foot, either down low to the ground, at your calf, or up above your knee. Take one more breath here, and then release back down and come back to the top of your mat, and we'll take one last sun salutation together. Inhale your arms down, round them up overhead, and exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale, fold. Let your palms step back to a plank or a half plank. Inhale, and exhale, lower knees, chest, and chin, and then slide it out. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Inhale up to cobra or up dog if you prefer. And release. And press up and back to your child's pose. Then press back up to your tabletop, and then come to a seat. And bring the soles of your feet together, and we'll come into a butterfly forward fold. Your feet can be as close or as far away from your body as you'd like. Inhale, sit up nice and tall, and stay here if you can feel the stretch here. Or if you prefer, start to bend forward, keeping a straight spine to start. Inhale, and then exhale. You can round through your spine if you like. And nice and slow, walk back up. Take your hands underneath your knees, press your knees back up, and then take your legs out long. Inhale, and then exhale, fold forward over your legs. This can be an active stretch if you'd like, where you're reaching, maybe your feet are flexed upwards, or this can also be passive, where you just Let gravity do the work for you. And then nice and slow, walk back upright. And then make your way down to your back. Bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Or take circles with your knees. And then from here, take your legs up in the air, flex through your feet, come into happy baby. Maybe you stay in stillness, or maybe you find a gentle side to side sway. And then release your feet. Bring your feet back down flat to the mat. Cross your left ankle over your right knee. And come into reclined pigeon. Stay here with your right foot flat on the mat, or take your right leg up. And once you're comfortable, you can close down your eyes. And release if you're holding your leg and uncross. And then cross your right ankle over your left knee. Again, staying with your left foot on the ground or lifting your left leg up. And then release back down. Uncross your legs. Let your knees fall over to one side, and then up and over to the other side. And windshield wiper back and forth. A couple more times. Then bring your knees back into center. Take your hands out wide into a T. Take your hips over to the left. And let your knees fall over to the right, recline twist. then bring your legs back up through center. Shift your hips over to the right and let your knees fall over to the left. And bring your legs back up through center. Bring your hips back through center as well. And settle into your Shavasana. So keep your feet flat on the floor. And let your knees fall inwards towards each other if that's more comfortable on your low back. Otherwise, let your legs stretch out long. Take your hands beside your side, palms facing upwards. Take your legs nice and wide, and then let your feet fall open outwards. Close down your eyes. And if you find that you are starting to get a little chilly before you settle into your Shavasana, you can grab a blanket to cover up with here. Start to come back to your breath. Inhale and exhale. Wiggle your fingers, move your feet, bend your legs, and stretch your arms up overhead, and roll to one side. Pausing here for a couple breaths before pressing the rest of the way back up. Come to a comfortable seat, close down your eyes, let your hands rest on your knees. And before we end our practice today, we will do some breathing and maybe a few minutes of meditation. This is how I like to do it in my personal practice. I like to move my body, get all of that energy out, and then come to sit for my meditation. I just find that it helps me to get more settled into it faster than if I just come to sit into my meditation outright. So find a comfortable seat. We won't be here for too long. And focus on your breath. So as you inhale, fill your belly up with air. And as you exhale, contract your belly back in, draw your navel towards your spine. And inhale, expand all four corners of your torso. And exhale, draw your navel towards your spine. And take a few more breaths on your own, inhaling and exhaling, maybe for a little bit longer with each breath. And this time, on your inhale, see if you can breathe in for a count of 3 or 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale, 2, 3, 4. And exhale, 2, 3, 4. And inhale. And exhale. And maybe now, take your breath to a count of 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And take a few more rounds on your own. On your next breath in, take the deepest breath of your day. And exhale, let it out. And then from here, you can keep working on your breath if you like, or just come to sit in stillness and in the afterglow of your practice for just a little bit. Start to come back to your breath again. Nice deep inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, circle your arms down, around, and up overhead, and exhale, your hands down to your heart center. Bow your head to your heart. Take a nice deep breath in, and exhale out, and blink your eyes open. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day.